Hi, welcome. I'm Summer. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you stay a while, maybe subscribe. So today I wanted to go over, first of all, warning, this is about murder. So anybody that is sensitive to murder or anything like that, I understand if you don't stick around. But if you do want to stick around, we will continue. So anyways, we have the Manson murders I want to go over. And most of all, what I really want to go over is the fact that I just learned there's more than one woman that got out on parole. So to start, I do want to put out my prayers and thoughts to the victims that this happened to and their families. They did not deserve this at all. But this was mainly because of Charles Manson. He is a cult leader. He was a musician. Want to be a musician, I'm sure. But anyways, on the evening of August 9th, 1969, a group of followers of Charles Manson's brutally murdered 5 people at the home of actress Sharon Tate. And the following night, in the same neighborhood, the followers of Manson's family carried out another horrific murder. And that murder was at the home of Leno and Rosemary LeBlanca. Now, if I say that wrong, I do apologize. The elderly couple was tied up and stabbed to death, and the words "death to pigs" were written on the walls of their home in their blood. Charles Manson, then, he was at the ranch that they stayed at. Now, there's 2 different names that I've seen for this. The Spain Ranch is what I've seen, and then the Barker Ranch. I will call it the Barker Ranch if we do talk about it. Well, I am going to talk about it. So the Barker Ranch is where Charles Manson and his followers would stay. And this place, it had westerns, like movies, TV shows. This place still exists. It's like a tourist spot in California. If I ever go to California, I am going to this place and I'm seeing it. Because for one thing, it just sounds really cool because it was a western for TVs, it was movies, and most recently, a movie in 2019 was playing there. Not the whole scene, but one of the scenes at least. And the movie, it was the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And when I watched that movie, I had no idea it had to do with Manson. Now, it's probably because I didn't read the back or whatever, duh, but it was actually really good. And it was more like it was about the victims, and it wasn't even the murders. It wasn't the murders happening, it was before it. So anyways, the followers, the women of Charles Manson, they do the murders, they fled back to this ranch, the Barker Ranch, and they got caught and arrested because they stole a vehicle, and the person's vehicle that they stole, they called on them. Police come, they arrest them. Manson and his followers, they were found guilty, and they were put in prison, and they were sentenced to death, but somehow they were just put in prison for life. Now, to start with, Manson died in prison in 2017. Thank goodness. I don't even know why. My opinion, I don't even know why he had the chance to be able to even live life in prison. Suzanne Adkins, aka Sadie, was her nickname. She was the central figure for these murders. She did 8 murders total, and she was sentenced to death, but then they put her in prison for life, and she died in 2009. Then we have Patricia, and I cannot say her last name. It is Karen Wrinkle. Her nickname was Katie. I wonder if Manson named all of them. like their nicknames. He probably did. Sure he did. She was responsible for 7 murders. She was sentenced to death as well and somehow got out of it. And then she was just put in prison for life. And now she is in a California institution for women. And that's where she's still at. And then we have Susan Morphy. Her nickname is Gypsy. She was present at the Tate murders, but she did not actually directly participate. But she was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder. And she served 15 years. And she is now out. And she's no longer on parole. So we have this lady, Suzanne Morphy. Morphy. Yeah. Again, sorry if I say these names wrong. She's out. She technically, I read further. There's more that I read. There's so much that I read. She came into being a follower of Manson after the murders. I don't know if that is actually true. That might be something that she said so that she was not involved. And then we have a Lynette Farm. And she was named Squeaky. She was a devoted follower of Manson. She attempted to assassinate one of the presidents of the United States. But she did not, of course, succeed. Thankfully, she did not, and I'm sure she's thankful because she is now out as well. She served 34 years in prison, and then she was out on parole. She is no longer on parole as well, and she's living a normal life. They are both, Susan and Lynette are both living normal lives, and they are private, no media, working as like waitresses and whatever else it is. Simple jobs. One of them, I know they have a bachelor's degree. They got their GED and then they got their bachelor's degree and they did social work. I don't know how they were allowed to do social work and they were a murderer at one point. Or they attempted to be a murderer. Attempted. And then the biggest one just happened last year. This is Leslie Van Houten and her nickname was Lulu. I wonder if she still goes by Lulu. She was released on parole last year, 2023. First degree murder of 2 counts. But it was conspiracy to commit murder. But she went back and forth saying that she was just there. She had nothing to do with it. At first, I've heard recordings from her saying that she did stab Tate. And then she says that she did not, and she was on drugs and she was on alcohol, so she didn't know what she was doing, and she was not mentally capable of being able to say what she did was right or wrong. She said this was Manson's fault. He was a brainwasher. He was a manipulator. During her time in jail, she actually banked. She banked on this murder, this double murder. So now she's living a comfortable life outside of prison. She served only 53 years. And they let her out. And these women, they say, are no longer a threat to society. I'm just saying this is my opinion. Once somebody does something, if Leslie did have anything to do with these murders, and she did, they all did. It's my opinion, but like they had to have all had to do with this murder, and they were all part of the group, so all of them were probably like, yeah, you have to do this, you have to do this, join me. If you want to be with Charlie Manson, you have to do this. This is what he wants. She had to have been involved. She had to have done it. It's said that she held down Tate, and then it's also said that she also stabbed Tate. What do you guys think? Do you think that she had to do with it? She's so back and forth. Which one is it? Did she do this? Is she a murderer? Or was she just manipulated by Charles Manson? Thank goodness that he is no longer with us. Thank goodness. If you're still here, guys, thank you. Thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I cannot believe that these women are out, but our legal system allows for this stuff to happen. I mean, it would be good for some people, I'm sure, if they weren't murderers. But these girls, these women, because they are like in their 70s now, they are still capable of doing things. My grandfather is 85 years old and he still mows his own lawn. So what makes you think a 70-year-old can't murder somebody? I hope they're doing better. I hope that they feel bad for the rest of their life that they were involved in this, that they did the things that they did. I really could hope for at least that. Alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for sticking around and listening. I appreciate it. Subscribe. Have a good day. Make safe choices. Don't talk to strangers. Bye.